What if I told you that there's a philosophy out there that claims almost everything we've been taught about healthy eating is, well, just plain wrong? A philosophy that argues our modern diet is a direct violation of nature's law, and that the only way back to real health is to eat our food exactly as nature gives it to us, raw. Today, we're diving into this really powerful, and for a lot of people, pretty radical idea.
Yeah, the source material we're digging into today does not pull any punches. It kicks things off with this incredibly stark warning. It sets the stakes as high as they can possibly be, basically saying that when it comes to nature's rules on diet, there is absolutely no room for negotiation. The consequences, they're final.
So what is this unbreakable law, exactly? Well, at its very core, it's a simple but powerful equation from the source material. Bhakcha is equal to kancha, and what that translates to is to live is to eat raw. This isn't just some catchy phrase, It's the central belief that our life force, our vitality, is completely tied to eating uncooked, natural foods.
To really get your head around this philosophy, you have to think of nature's law not as a guideline, but as an absolute authority. Something far, far more powerful than any law humans could ever come up with. And the source material draws a really sharp contrast between the two.
This right here perfectly captures that core difference. With human laws, there are always loopholes, right? You might get away with something. You can appeal a decision, maybe get off on a technicality. But according to this philosophy, nature's laws are absolute. When you break them, the consequences are a sure thing. They're unavoidable. It's not about your freedom. We're talking about your very existence.
So what is the single biggest crime against nature's law according to this philosophy? Well, it's something millions of us do every single day without a second thought. Cooking. Let's get into why this seemingly harmless act is seen as so incredibly destructive.
The source actually has a specific name for this, Bikrito Ahar, which means distorted food. And listen, this isn't just about fast food or junk food. It refers to any food that's been changed from its natural state by heat, oils, and spices. The whole argument is that this process, this distortion, is exactly where all of our health problems really begin.
And this really illustrates the problem as this philosophy sees it. The idea is that nature provides food that our bodies are perfectly designed to use as medicine. But when we cook it, the heat is said to just obliterate its vital nutrients. Our body then struggles to even recognize this distorted substance, which leads to this internal conflict that starts with things as simple as gas or constipation, but can lead to so much more.
Now, this dietary mistake, it doesn't just cause a bit of indigestion. According to the source, it kicks off a devastating chain reaction, a vicious cycle that leads directly to chronic illness.
And here's how it's said to unfold. It starts small, a little gas, some bloating. But over time, as the body keeps struggling with this distorted food, those minor issues become persistent digestive problems. And then, before you know it, you're getting diagnosed with a chronic condition, like diabetes or high blood pressure, which leads to what the source calls a life sentence of medication. And this right here is the source's key critique of modern medicine. It's seen as a system that's great at managing symptoms, but never actually gets to the root cause, the distorted food. So the medication continues, the dosage often goes up, and it only stops when the patient's life does. It's a management system, not a cure.
Okay, so if cooked food is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the source presents a totally different way of understanding food, dividing it into 3 categories that have wildly different effects on our well-being.
So, this philosophy sorts all food into one of 3 buckets: tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic. Tamasic foods, like meat and dairy, are believed to make you lethargic and foggy. Rajasic foods, and this includes all cooked and processed stuff, are said to lead to restlessness and agitation. And then you have sattvic foods, raw fruits and vegetables, which are seen as the one and only path to clarity, patience, and true health.
So think about it. When you combine tamasic and rajasic foods, which, let's be honest, is how most of the modern world eats, the claim is you're basically creating a cocktail for negative effects. And we're not just talking about physical problems like high blood pressure. It's also about your mental and emotional state, like anxiety, irritability, and just not being able to focus.
But then, look at the contrast when you switch to a sattvic or raw diet. The promised benefits are the complete opposite: a sharp, clear mind, a calm and patient demeanor, deep, restful sleep, and freedom from the very diseases that plague our society. So the key takeaway here is that your choice of food directly shapes both your physical and your mental state. Now, this all might sound pretty extreme, I get it. But the source makes it really clear that starting is so much simpler than you might think. This isn't about complicated, expensive recipes. It's about getting back to basics.
Okay, first things first, let's bust a huge myth. I'm sure many of us have heard some version of eat fruit after a meal. Well, this philosophy flips that completely on its head. It argues that fruit must be eaten on an empty stomach. If you eat it on a full stomach, it leads to fermentation and acid, basically turning good medicine into a poison inside you.
So what does a proper breakfast look like then? It's beautifully simple. You've got a base of seasonal fruits, a protein source like sprouted chickpeas, and a healthy fat like some soaked almonds or coconut. And the only rule, eat until you're full. That's it. No portion control, just listening to what your body needs.
And for a snack, you can get really creative. The source offers this amazing recipe for a raw papaya noodle dish, and it all starts with this vibrant, flavorful sauce. Just imagine blending up fresh tomatoes with a kick of garlic and chili, brightened with lemon juice. And a pro tip from the source, use the peel for extra aroma. Then, for texture, you mix in some crushed peanuts. It's a perfect example of how exciting raw food can be.
To finish it off, you just grate some raw papaya and carrots to create these noodles, add some fresh coriander, and then toss it all in that amazing sauce. What you get is a dish that's fresh, crunchy, and unbelievably satisfying, which is all the proof you need that raw food is anything but boring.
So at the end of the day, this philosophy isn't about a doctor's prescription or some new fad diet. It's presented as a fundamental choice about how you want to live your life, based on a simple understanding of nature's laws.
And the source gives you a clear, totally actionable goal. To start reclaiming your health and breaking free from disease, you don't have to go 100% raw overnight. The key, the starting point, is to make sure that at least 50% of your daily food is raw, just as nature made it.
And this just brilliantly explains the why. The argument is that our bodies are already equipped with the most powerful healing force in the world, our own immune system. But these little internal doctors can't do their job if we're constantly giving them the wrong fuel, that distorted, cooked food. You give them the right fuel, raw, living food, and they will take care of you.
And so, that leaves us with the central question this whole philosophy poses. It's a choice, really, between two different paths. A life that's managed by medication, or a life that's governed by nature's simple, powerful laws. The decision, as the source makes crystal clear, is entirely yours.